and you're welcome to this auspicious event, gladly hosted here at the Dream Center. So any moment from now, we will kick off, but I'd like to first welcome you to the Dream Center. What that means is, if you didn't come with your dream of owning a home, you just landed in a dream center. So quickly turn on your dream. Of one of the dreams you should turn on is that of owning a home before you leave here. Who believes that? Who is in agreement with me? All right, you're welcome to the Dream Center of Global Harvest Church here at Maryland. Of course, in the city, the metropolitan city of Lagos. It's good to have your beautiful faces around. I can see people still playing with their phones. When I would launch out with a free home, you wouldn't know because you're pressing your phones, right? So pay a lot of attention because I might be giving out some nice gifts, and if you're not focused, you might just miss it. So I would ask that you stay focused. I would ask that you keep your attention very sharp and rapt so that you do not miss anything that would happen right here. How many of us are expectant? You know, we want to build to prosper, and we're building in the real sense. How many of us are expectant this morning? How many of us? I can't see. I need the energy. How many of you are, expectant? Nice. Right. I know you have questions. You have so many things on your heart. I can tell you it is a full event. It is full. We have curated this program to ensure that it reaches out to everyone at every level. So you do not need to be concerned that, I'm still playing at this level. No, whatever level you're at, this event will meet you at that point. All right, quickly, we need to move on. It's getting really hot in here. We need to move on. Sorry, we will not be able to take more reactions now. We'll come back to take reactions later. We'll take reactions later, but we need to move very quickly. So, we will be going into it, and sometimes we all think about a lot is happening in Lagos State. People are talking about homes. There is New Towns Development Authority. There is LSDPC. They will say there is, there are several homes, but how do people have access to this real estate property from Lagos? In fact, some people say, I can dare tell you, even in church, they say it's man, no man. Sorry to say. I mean, they shared amongst themselves already. People just come to church and say, it's not for us, Lagos State. I can't even smell it. But we've brought Lagos State very close to you. Do you want to celebrate that? Do you want to celebrate the fact that Lagos State is here? Right, we've done that work. So, ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Adeola Olusodo is a product of Igobi College, Yaba, and King's College, Lagos. He is also an alumnus of the prestigious University of Lagos with 2 master's degrees in business administration and housing and development and management. His work experience span over 3 decades in both private and public sector organizations. And currently, as we speak, he is the executive director, business development and joint ventures with the Lagos State Development and Property Corporation. We call that LSDPC. And he's got over 30 years of working within this public-private partnership projects in Lagos. He's an ordained minister of the gospel as well and a certified marriage counselor. He is the co-founder of Brainy World Learning Center, set up with his wife to cater for children with educational disabilities. And they also run a ministry that organizes marriage enrichment programs for couples. That is not why we're here today. He's going to speak about that next week, if you will come. All right, he is a field representative of the Full Gospel Business Men's Fellowship International and overseas. And he oversees a number of chapters in Lagos. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome for the first time on this podium here at the Dream Center of Global Harvest Church, Maryland, Lagos, to speak with us and build to prosper, Reverend Adeola Olusodo of the LSDPC. Celebrate him! Celebrate him! Come on!
Thank you, everyone. Please have your seat. I'm excited to be here, and truly, I would like to thank the organizers of this program. Please permit me to start by saying that I would like to borrow Dr. Aibai, to speak at the Full Gospel. I have a Full Gospel platform for those who know me that runs every month. And for a couple of years now, that program, every month, we have an online session that people join from all over the world. And it's always very topical. We talk on different issues that has to do with empowering Christians. And we have people from all over the world. It's always a full house. So I'm going to borrow him to come and share this with us, what he has shared with us this morning. In fact, I wish I would just leave after his presentation, because the things I've learned, it was like it was meant for me. Thank you so much. That was really, really a blessing. And for that sister who spoke last, just a word for you that, look, one of the things I learned early as a young believer is the fact that travel is education and is an investment. How do I mean? A few years ago, my son was going to renew his visa in Canada. I was going to renew his US visa. And he said to me, Daddy, when I went to the American embassy, he said even in Canada, they were rejecting people. He said, but the minute they took my passport and saw my travel list, they just said, come back, when do you want to? And they gave him 10 years visa. Because he started traveling at 2 years old. My children, every 2 years we travel then. So I'll save up for 2 years, and then we'll travel, and then we'll come back. Another 2 years. So my children know that it's a 2-year thing. So it wasn't like I had the money, but it was, for me, it was part of the exposure and investment for them. So when they were going to go abroad to school, it was not difficult for them at all. So it's an investment. Like you said, in fact, everything they shared, it was just for me. So let me just go straight into LSDPC. What do I have? I have my slides. I hope the slides can be shared so that I can run through this. My journey to LSDPC. Well, it's a journey that I believe was God ordained because it's a product of relationship. A friend who had helped when I was in the motor industry, I used to be the marketing manager for Daewoo Motors, just called me one day and said, there's a job in government, and I told them I have a candidate that is you. And he said, I must go there. And I'm like, I'm not interested. Cut the long story short, I went to LSCPC. After much hassles, I said, what is it? I'm not interested in government work. I thought I was doing well in the private sector. I had 2 official cars. I was being paid. I was living in 1 2-bedroom flat in Mushin, and I thought I had arrived. And then I got to LSCPC. I went with him. I said, okay, let's even go there. And then we got to the office of the MD. And as we opened the door and we entered, I looked at the man. The man said, Diola. And I said, Deacon. Apparently, he was the head usher in my church. I used to fellowship in Trem. And they had made him the MD of the place. And he was looking for someone. He said, it's you they have been begging. My friend, come and join me here and come and work with me. That was my journey into government. And I tell you, it changed the trajectory of my life. And it not only that, it also changed Lagos State, because I tell you, it was for me an avenue, a platform of bringing God into governance. I became probably the youngest management staff. I was probably the youngest management staff, probably in Lagos State then. I was about 34, thereabout. And I tell you, I started doing things, bringing ideas and policies. Of course, they resisted me. They fought me to a standstill. Trust the system. Petitions were written. I was demoted. They tried to get me out of the system. Thank God for a fatherly advice from a man who came to buy a property from me and who saw me and looked at me and said, young man in government, how did you get here? I told him my story, and the man said, be careful, because they will try to get you out. Make sure you don't let them push you out. So after 2 years, I wrote my resignation letter and I was about to leave. Sorry, I'm taking a bit of a time. And the man came, looked at me and said, what are you trying to say? I'm trying to leave. He took the letter and tore it and said, they're about to get you out because they know that you are going to the top. And so it is early to frustrate you out and get you out now. So stay in there because God has a plan for you. You are going to the top. Don't get frustrated. Where is my slide, please? I sent the slide. Please, can we display it so that I can quickly run through it? Is anyone on it? Shegun? So, well, I will talk. I think I have it here. Let me just run. Let me start when it comes on. And then I can. So I'm talking about the opportunities, real estate opportunities. Well, we all understand what real estate is. Real estate, the only thing that is real when it comes to investment are estates. And I have guys here like Freeman. Freeman has spoken on my platform before. So we're talking about land, houses, landed assets that are tangible, things that you can look at. And let me tell you, until I got into government, I didn't understand certain things. And let me tell you a secret one of my bosses told me several years ago. And he said, before you are 40, make sure you have built your house. I didn't understand. I'm close to 60 now. And most of my colleagues or my age grades who have not built their houses are sweating now. Nobody ever knew Nigeria would be like this. If you have not, I tell you, as early last year or 2 years ago, houses that we were selling for 60 million are selling now for 180 million. Of course, we all know what has happened. The devaluation has thrown everything overboard. So, for us, the slides are not on yet. I sent them ahead and I thought, okay, they're on now. Okay, I wasn't seeing it on the other side. I thought it was on the other side. I was looking for it. So investment is an act of setting apart resources. It's talking about that, so I'm not going to talk about that. Next slide, so I'm just going to take it. So what are the benefits of investing in real estate? Capital appreciation. I remember that there were assets, when I joined the government, there were assets that were sold. I had the opportunity of buying 1 or 2 bungalows then. Year 2000, 24 years ago. 1 million naira for 950,000. Those assets were sold then. And then the rents. Today, those assets are about 40 million. There's nothing that gives you the kind of capital appreciation that real estate investments give you. I was talking to a friend last week, and there was a plot of land that he bought in Lekki in 2008 for 5 million naira. Around the Legushi. 5 million naira, 2008. He just sold that asset for 500 million naira last week. And so when he told me he sold it, I said, put that money into another property. So there was an asset in Lekki one being sold, and he bought it for 350 million. The remaining 150 million, he bought another asset here on the mainland, locked it down, and I said, look, what you have done is basically, because that asset that you had already reached a certain plateau. Yeah, it will continue to, increase in value, but it won't give you the value these new ones will give you. But like he said, planning for the future. So these 2 assets he has bought, with about 400 million out of that money, I can tell you in the next 2 years, will be worth over 600-700 million. So if you understand how to invest your money properly, you can turn money around. In fact, like you said, that is the best way of building wealth. Turn the money around. So what you do is basically when you see opportunities to invest, there are landed properties that are sold now in estates down towards Dangote Refinery. I remember that a friend started something like that. They invited some of us and we put in about 5 million then. Those assets are selling for over 50 million now. So those are the ways you can turn around. So those monies, as you put them together or the opportunities come, look for such assets. However, be careful where you put them. I'm going to come to that. Diversification, of course, he talked about diversifying your portfolio. So I won't go into that because of time. I've spent part of my time. Real estate is the best hedge against inflation. Right now in this country, the best way you can store your money is real estate. Because you are sure that the value will continue to appreciate. You can't I can't put my money anywhere else now, anyway, for now. Except maybe when after this meeting, I've already downloaded the whatever. So I'll reach out to him and see other opportunities. Then Nigeria is seen as an emerging market. Despite all that we're going through, we're still growing. The economy is growing. Then gives you long-term wealth. You want to store wealth, you want to create wealth for the long term. Real estate is the way to go. Next slide, please. Next slide. So, what are the constraints and what are the issues? Like you said, legal issues, issues of title in Lagos State, particularly in Lagos. Title issues would always be a major, major challenge. But a lot is being done in that area. We're trying to do the GPS thing. They're trying to do the digitalization and all the things they're trying to do. But those things are beginning to pay off. And then you have someone like Barrister Njoku in the house. She understands the system. So just work with those who understand the system. Recently, there was a Christian brother who came up with an idea that will help the real estate documentation for mortgages and all that. And by the time he came to me, I was able to help to facilitate that transaction. And that will also hasten the process within Lagos State, because that's going to help a lot. Economic factors, high inflation rate, of course, we just spoke about that. Cost of everything is going up, cost of building materials. Regulatory issues, the poor are resulted in unscrupulous developers. That's another major problem. Everybody is a developer now. And that I always warn people about. Everybody is a developer. I don't have anything against it. But I tell you, we need to regulate that sector properly. There's a lot of fraud going on. People are just collecting people's money and living large on it. Just living large. There's so much trouble in that sector. You know how many development companies approach me? Sir, we want you to come on our board. And I'm like, on your board? I'm sorry. One, my work would not even allow me to do that. Then secondly, the only thing I have is my integrity, my name. And finally, my name is Olushododo, so I stand for the truth, always, and integrity, always. In fact, my father, when we were growing, would always tell us, that is the only thing you have, your name. And then environmental factors. Next slide, because of time. I have just 10 minutes, so I'm actually running against time. Strategy for real estate investment. Engage in real estate research is available. Research in available government housing programs. People believe that government products are only for government officials. It's not true, or for who you know. When I joined the government in 2000, what I did was I started advertising government projects. I started a process where allocation, you don't need to know anybody, just walk in. If you go on our website today, go and look for what you see. Come to LSCPC, buy your form, pay for whatever house you want. You don't need to know anybody. People don't believe it. I always tell people that was why some of us went into government. And so, please, if you have the opportunity, purchase government properties from government-owned agencies like LSCPC. Consult with legal professionals. It's always good to consult. People just want to do something. One of my friends said he went to buy something. I don't understand. You want to buy a piece of land, somebody says, come and buy land, I will give you a ram, or you give you a goat, and then you go and put your money there. You have paid for the ram. That's all you paid for. You didn't pay for any land. Simple. You didn't pay for any land. I don't understand. Collaborate with family, friends, or business associates to pull resources. Now, this is one area that we're not so good at in this country. We haven't done so well. We have not leveraged relationships. Why? Because we are not, I don't want to use the word that we are wicked people. Why? We're not. Because we're children of God. But I was speaking to a friend recently. And I said, things are very tough here. And he said, hey now, he said, scripture says there's no peace for the wicked. I said, are you okay? He said, yes now. He said, how do you mean? He said, the level of wickedness in Nigeria. He said, how do you expect there will be peace? He said, the scripture said there will be no peace for the wicked. He said, you people cannot have peace in that place. I said, something is wrong with you. But I sat down and I thought about it. He was speaking the truth. And you know what? In this country, our problem we all know. And what is the problem? What is the solution? Living by the golden rule. What is the golden rule? Do unto others what you wanted. That will solve our problem. It will solve 90% of our problem. Am I saying the right thing? Participate in property development schemes offered by developers. But you have to be careful. This one, you have to be very, very careful. Or cooperative organizations. Obtain a mortgage from a bank or mortgage institutions to finance the purchase of a home. Now, that's another area that we have not really explored in this country because of the high interest rate. It's only in Nigeria you see mortgages of double digits. So you understand the implication of that. Establish a saving plan and budget to accumulate funds. It's spoken about that. Next, because of time, I won't. So LSCPC, we all know, I won't go into this because of time. A fully government commercialized entity. I mean, when I joined LSBC in 2000, by 1999, we had become fully commercialized. So people like us came in and were able to turn it around. And I always tell them that, look, until governance is seen as business, we will struggle as a nation. Governance is business. So we have I don't understand how we give it to people who don't understand anything about business. And we expect them to manage our commonwealth. That's why I call it a business. Because when people come to my office, they tell me, Oga, what do you want? Shebi is government. Don't worry now. We'll give you 10% for yourself. Just leave government. And I tell them, I said, no, it doesn't work like that. I am here as a government official to manage our commonwealth. It is for all of us. So if you think you are cheating the government, we are cheating ourselves. They will look at me like this and say, are you a Nigerian? I said, yes, I am. So if I compromise with you, I'm cheating because and you won't believe, even Christians. So you have come and you have told me to compromise. Am I sure tomorrow that you will not cheat me? So we must understand it. So one of the things that I came up with was the PPP model. I had the benefit of working with the current governor who was the MD. So he understood the model when he came in, and we came up with the PPP model. We have over 30 projects running now. And next slide, please. And those projects are projects that will benefit anybody. In fact, they cut across different parts of Lagos. Next slide. These are on the mainland. This is Ogudu. If you're driving from the toll gate towards the third mainland bridge on the right. So we have 4 schemes on that Ogudu. That land used to be there, was a swampy land abandoned. And then I divided it into 4, gave it to 4 different developers. We have different schemes there, duplexes, apartments, terrace houses. And the prices are available. You can always access this on our website. It's called, we have Davila, we have the Avenue, we have Toll Heights. This is just one of the schemes. Next slide, please. This is another one, Treasure Gardens in Lekki. This is Ajiwe on the Ogombo Road axis. We have also about 3 different sites there. Apartments, terrace houses. So now, these are done with different developers, private developers. So what we do basically is we give them land. They bring their funds, and then we sell for them. We help them. We market. We have the brand name as LSGPC. I have a long list of people who want houses, both locally and internationally. So I bring that I bring that to the table. Then I also, beyond that, I then went further to say, look, not just my own land. So I have land from institutions, banks, families, individuals. If you have good land in a good location, you bring it to me, I will develop it for you. So what I do is basically, I'll bring in a partner who is a developer, and I stay in the middle of the transaction, do a tripartite, structure the transaction, and then it's done. And then everybody gets what is due to them, and then it's done. So I ensure that I give it the government cover, ensure that everything that has to do with titling and documentation and whatever, so no government official will come and harass you and all that. So all that is properly done. So those are some of the value adds that we bring to the table. Like I said, we run LSBC as a business. For me, it's a business. So I tell them it's a business. So I bring my brand equity to such transactions. So cooperatives will come and then get land, develop for cooperatives, they sell to their members, and everybody is happy. So that way is not about is a government scheme alone. No, we also have private schemes that we can also help develop and structure. One area that I am believing God, I'm trying to work on, is developing estates for believers, for churches. I had a discussion with Pastor Paul at the and he was so excited about it. So that's one of the things we must do. Next slide, please. We have other slides because of time. There are several other places you can benefit from. So I will just pause here so that... thank you. I'm so sorry for taking your time. Thank you.
Let's go to the land is green. Say the land is green. You know this man so well. I don't need to introduce him, but I will still introduce him nonetheless. All right. Shewan Shigwason is a highly accomplished business professional and an esteemed mentor. Of course, we know that upon graduating from the university, he ventured into a whole lot. Clothing, barbecue business, a whole lot. He's a minister of the gospel we know he was here for several years working here and being part of us. Today, being driven by a profound passion to empower small businesses and to ensure that there is housing for everyone according to what the scripture has told us, that all of us will inherit the land, we have a portion in the land, and he's doing that fantastically well. Of course, he has led his own ministry as well and doing fantastically well. I think recently they moved into the city of Abuja, or is it you moved your branch into Ibadan? All right, fantastic. And so they're expanding pretty well. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome our own Pastor Sheung Oshigbeson. He's the CEO, MD Frontline Homes Limited. He'll be speaking to us for 10 minutes, and then he will take his place on the plenary. God bless you. Celebrate him one more time. Come on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I can see it. Thank you. I didn't plan to speak, but I will just run through what I have. I didn't get the memo, so I'll just run through. I mean, I'm a pastor, so I speak for a living, if you get what I'm saying. So speaking is not a problem for me. I'd like to especially recognize the presence of Mr. Olusodo. Thank you for being here. Can you please give him a big hand? Let's celebrate him. Let's celebrate him. I mean, he's doing an amazing job, and we're so glad to connect with you and to see you here today. So once again, let's give him a big hand, big hand. And to the organizers of this event, we'd like to especially appreciate Pastor Emmanuel Ahevba and the leadership. See, you are lucky, I'm telling you. You are lucky. You know, this is a paid event, naturally, but you're here for free. So once again, let's appreciate them. Let's appreciate them. You know, he said something about companies that would say, buy this, get this. It's very funny. I mean, there was a time we're having a meeting in my office, strategy session, and then so we're thinking of ideas and all of that. One of my staff said, why can't we do, I'm like, nah, it does not even sound, I mean, like he said, it's the RAM you are paying for and RAM you will get. You understand? I mean, and honestly, the truth of the matter is that there are a lot of fraudsters in this business. A lot. I'm telling you, as one who is also a stakeholder in the business, that's why you have to be very, very careful. The people you're buying from, and we'll get into that from the Q&A. So let me just run through this slide very fast. Real estate business in Nigeria, what's really in it? Can we move next slide? I'll just run through this. It's just 10 minutes, by the way. Where's the time? Okay, yeah. Next slide. Population growth and urban. Next slide. So the real estate market in Nigeria can be broadly classified into residential real estate, includes private homes, apartments, and estates. You have commercial. For example, this space is a real estate, engagement, right? So this is a commercial real estate. We have shopping malls, office spaces, hotels, and all. You have industrial real estate. You have warehouses like this. You have factories, logistics centers, and so on. And we have land, which is popularly known as site and service. So we have purchase and sale of land for future development or investment. Something funny happened. There was someone that said, let me say it this way. The reason why a lot of people get duped is because they're looking for cheap things, overly cheap things. Somebody said to me, your land is a bit expensive. How would you, be selling your land at this amount at so place? That I saw the same land for 500,000. And I'm like, okay, so how much did they buy the land? So they have plans to do anything on the estate? You say it's with deed and survey. They will give you deed. They will give you survey. In that same 500K, you should know that you lost money already. I mean, you just give them money. Next slide. So the market comprises developers, real estate agents, property managers, financial institutions, and government agencies like we have the LSPDC, notable developers like Frontline. The next slide. With a housing deficit estimated at over 20 million units, there is no way that real estate business would die in Nigeria. Because some of you, you've not given birth, and you still give birth. So the population will keep growing. So we have a major need in the real estate. I'm telling you, we even need more people in that business. We just need more credible people there. Because there is a lot of things. I mean, there are people that collect money and then they just go buy big car and all of that. And people are just all over the place, making a fool of themselves. And there are people who just want you to appear in a certain way. They say, appear this way because we can buy from you. And then you end up losing your money at the end of the day. So we have return on investment. If you buy right, you can buy a land maybe like he said, somebody bought, I don't know who said that, somebody bought a land for 5 million and sold, he said that, and 500 million in a space of how many years? My mom, I was with her some weeks ago, she told me how that the land we built our house, they bought the land for 16,500 naira. That was like, I think she should be about 10, so that should be about 29, 28 years ago. And then now that land is worth about 20 million. My mom. So my mom is a millionaire. Right. So you see that. So, and there are people that say, oh, it's far. If it's not far, the one you can afford, can you just buy it? Just buy something. You want to buy the one that is on the island, and you are still on that ladder that Pastor Emmanuel is talking about. You still can you just start from somewhere and grow from there? Next, diverse investment options, technology and innovation, prop tech, and that's why I'm glad my brother is here, Dr. Freeman. He will speak more about that. Next slide. The sector is heavily regulated and navigating the legal landscape, complex. Next. It's capital intensive, infrastructure deficit. Next slide, because of time, 4 minutes to go. Strategic location selection. Now, this is one of the wisdom that comes to real estate, where you can, before time, you can spot a location. And how do you do that? You look at the landmark. For example, anywhere you can see, go and check it everywhere in the world. Train station, it's always good for development. If you position yourself in that space, it's always good to look out for what can drive development in where you're buying your property from. Next slide, because of time. Compliance and legal due diligence. And let me say this. Now, why people get duped sometimes is because they are lazy. Yeah. Because some of these things are actually it's not rocket science. Buying land is not rocket science. Once you identify what you want to buy, there are several things that you need to do, and we will go into that in the course of the session. All right? Just if you do those things, you can be sure that the land is legit, and then you're not going to lose your money. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Thank you. All right. So, I did this in record time. So, I still have some 2 minutes left. Right. So, there's a lot to learn today. I want to encourage you. You cannot have everything stored in your brain. Write them down. Ask questions. Ask real questions. If you have questions bothering your mind, maybe you've lost money before. Now, like Pastor Emmanuel said, this is still the realest, investment you can have. So you may have lost money in the past. Maybe you didn't do your due diligence. You can try again. There are people that say things like, oh, I'm not doing this because my father, somebody told me that his father warned him that don't buy land in Lagos. That his father warned him. Where do you want to buy if not Lagos? Where do you want to buy? You want to go and buy in your hometown? Where do you want to buy? Yes, you can buy in other places, but you need to have something in Lagos. Imagine that the land or the house you have in your hometown is in Lagos. You'll be better off. Any witness? Yeah, some of you have houses. Your father have maybe 3 houses. The cost is not up to 5 million. But imagine that he bought at VI. You'll probably not be here this morning. I'm just teasing. All right, so my time is up. Just 1 minute to go. Thank you very much.
I'm bringing forward someone who will, again, change the landscape a bit. I'm bringing the dynamism of technology into the whole discussion. All right? And that is talking about prop tech in itself. So I will be calling forward someone that we know so well. But let me just say just a little stuff around him before I bring him forward. Those of you here that you're saying, my son has to be a doctor by force, see doctors who are leaving the practice and selling land and making money for... All right, it's good to be a medical doctor. So, Freeman Oshonuga is a Nigerian medical doctor, of course we know, and is an entrepreneur as well. He's the CEO of Loyalty Business Network and founder of PropTech Hub Africa Incorporated. He founded the DFO, which is the Dr. Freeman Oshonuga Foundation, a charitable organization as well, to support orphans and people with disability in Nigeria. Now, of course, he studied medicine and surgery, like we've been talking about, but in 2013, he was named Young World Ambassador. A year later, he received the Sierra Leone government's Presidential Meritorious Service Award for his role in the containment of the Ebola virus in Sierra Leone. In 2015, he was named a Wired UK Innovation Fellow. And in October that year, he was among the 3 finalists just shortlisted to travel to space. He will tell us whether I went to space or not. I've been to space many times, actually. You should celebrate me. Celebrate me. I've been to space. But I do it in my dream every day. I just decide which part of the galaxy I want to go. I just say today I'm going to Pluto. Off I go. All right. In 2016, he established Loyalty Business Networks, a real estate network and marketing firm. And the firm was reported to have hit 20,000 realtors by February 2020. Of course, in 2017, he was listed as one of the 100 most influential young Nigerians and selected as one of Nigeria's top 10 real estate disruptors of the 2020. I mean, there's so much I can say about this friend, brother, and a family of ours. Ladies and gentlemen, with so much joy, make welcome Dr. Freeman Oshonuga as he speaks to us on PropTech. Please celebrate him as he comes. Celebrate him. Celebrate him. As you celebrate him, he's able to walk faster to this podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so very much to the leadership. I'm really grateful. Thank you for giving us the privilege to have this conversation. And it's very important I start by saying that my journey in real estate started in this church. I joined this church June 2016. And it was because I was getting married in July. So I came in here. And at that same time, I was doing financial planning also, So I was interested in investing in real estate. I was researching where to invest. So I was preparing for my wedding, and then I was trying to invest in real estate. But after that, wedding expenses. So I couldn't conclude that transaction on time. Then I was referring a lot of my friends to the agents, that I was talking to at that time. Then later, he now invited me to consider doing the business. I didn't like the idea, So I spoke to my wife. She encouraged me. But more importantly, I was in prayer department. Pastor Shegun was the head of our department. And I took it to God in prayer. Should I do this business or not? I remember that vigil. We used to have monthly, last Friday of the month vigils. And God led me to real estate. And I'm saying this story because somebody is in the audience at this junction. You're considering doing any business, any business, So my story can be an example of starting from nothing, to something. By the grace of God, we've achieved a whole lot, in the real estate space. So I started as an independent agent. Then I built my first company in real estate called Ad Loyalty Business Network. And we've got several billions in sales. We've made hundreds of individuals millionaires. We've helped thousands of individuals to become homeowners. I've helped several companies in real estate to grow from nothing to something. Then from there, I built another real estate firm, and then another and another. And they're all doing very well. They're grossing great revenue. The grace helps us here. Whether it is any business you're trying to do, you can do it. Before I get into, my time is very short. In the build-up to this time, I've gotten a lot of feedback from people that want to get into real estate. Quickly, what is real estate? Real estate is what we are standing on, and whatever is on it and what is underneath it. Real estate is land and anything on it or beneath it. And because of that, there are about 6 different types of real estate. Already, because of the trending news here and there's a lot of smoke, there's a lot of fear, being created, and that will discourage a lot of people from either investing or take the necessary step. But my job today is to let you know that despite the fear, go beyond the smoke and focus on what is important. If you're going to make money from real estate, one of the first things you need to do is to kill the fear. Kill the fear. Don't allow the fear to paralyze you. So many people have not invested in real estate. They've not taken that first step because of so much fear, whether it's from their lawyers, whether it's the stories online, but you need to stop that fear and take the right steps. So what are the types of real estate that we have? We have about 6 basic types of real estate. The first one is residential real estate. Everybody woke up in a home today. You slept somewhere, you woke up from somewhere, and when you leave this place, you are going back there. And that is residential real estate. So when you, as a family, you are thinking about that your own home, that house that will belong to you, what you are thinking about is residential real estate. And in the journey of having a home or your investment, what is important is not where you desire. If you really want to do this real estate, you can't wait till you have all the money you need for it. The most practical step to do is to start from what you can afford. Start with what you have, where you are. If the money you have, so if that house is for you and your family to stay, you can determine an area, you can talk to an agent, go look for it. If you cannot buy one plot, buy a half plot. If you cannot buy 300 square meter, you can buy 150 square meter. And then you can maximize space. The land might not give you breadth, but whatever is on your land, this space is still yours. When you go to Idumota, you see 2-story buildings built on literally like 100 square meter. So the second part of real estate is called commercial real estate. And this is the real estate we use for business. The type of real estate we use for industries are the ones we use for factories. Those ones are called industrial real estate. This is an event center. So this is an event center that we're using for commercial purposes. So this is a commercial part of real estate. People find, when you buy land, before you build on it, you can use it for agric. That becomes agricultural real estate. There are developments that have people staying in it, while there are commercial activities also going on. So that is a mixed-use type of real estate. And then there is special use real estate, which we have cemeteries, religious houses. And all of these types of real estate have different opportunities. So if you are thinking of investing in real estate, there are different opportunities. Quickly, there are like about 5 ways to make money from real estate. The first one is called real estate speculation. Real estate speculation is what Reverend described, where somebody bought land, he left it for a period of time, and then that land acquired has increased in value. Because one very good one very good feature of real estate is that time had value to real estate. I mean, all the transactions we do in Ibejuleki, in Ekpe, or when you see an area where developers are moving to en masse, they are moving there en masse because of what is called speculation. And the word speculation is not a real estate term. It's a financial term where stockbrokers project that a particular stock will increase in value. So they buy it when the price is low so that they can sell it when the stock is high. I mean, it's just pure speculation. They might actually buy it at that low price and the share can fall below it. It's pure speculation, but it's based on some industry data and insight that has worked before. That when you see that the company is preparing to declare dividend and all of that, so the share value will go. So based on that speculation, that's the same concept that has been brought into real estate. When developers see government development projects in an area, moving in an area. For Ibejuleki, for example, the free trade zone, the deep sea port, the Dangote refinery, all of those developmental milestones made people to see that this area that is an isolated bush will soon become a city. So let's buy now when it is cheap so that we can sell it when it is high. And that is a very good way to make money in real estate. But in all fairness, real estate is not for poor people. Real estate is for the rich. You can't maximize real estate without having money. So if you want to buy low so that you can sell high, so you might be buying it without a title, and you cannot get the maximum value of it if you don't perfect that title, and that will cost you a lot of money. So real estate speculation is a very good way to make money. However, there are ways to go about it. You engage the services of an estate surveyor to help you verify the title. You engage your lawyer also to protect your interest in that transaction. Then rental income is a second way you can make money from real estate. By rental income, you will see that as family people, as a family man, you can use real estate to prepare for the future of your children. One of my role models used to challenge us, and this is what I say to my friends. Buy 2 rental income assets every year. In 5 years, you will have 10. In 10 years, you will have 20. Let's say you generate 2 million from one a year as rental income. In 5 years, you will have 10 million guaranteed income. And you can now plan your family budget based off of that amount, no matter what happens to your current state of income. And if you can achieve that, then you are already building solid wealth. The one when you do business and you make profits and you are liquid, maybe you are rich, that money that is liquid can come and go. Is currency. So it comes and it goes. That business is thriving now and it can disappear. But with real estate, you can invest, you can have assets that will continue to generate income for you, with which you will plan your family. So as an emerging career professional, if you think you are liquid, the first thing you should do is to buy assets. When you buy those assets, it will now begin to give you income with which you can plan your family. So number 3 way to get money from real estate is property development. Number 4 is real estate flipping. Number 5 is property brokerage. So the first 4 cost money. You can't do business in real estate and make money without money except for number 5, which is helping the people that want to buy real estate, helping them to buy. You are just in the middle of that transaction. You connect buyer to seller. You earn a transaction, And with that, so it costs you 0 naira to start that business. I did it so well. I helped so many people to become millionaires so well. And I wrote a book about it. It's simply print money with 0 capital. Now, wherever you want to go in the first 4 journeys, Maybe you want to go back to land speculation, property development, or you want to do rental income. From the fractions of the income you receive, from the commissions you receive, you can now build your own capital and then go to other aspects of the business. We'll talk more.